Hmm. All right, we'll go with that. Public domain radio. A little bit of classical music for the win. And what is this? Oh, good grief. Oh, goodness. Well, it might be a little loud for some people. There we go. Alright, might need to lower this just a little more. There we go. Alright, it's been a few minutes, so let's get started. Can't have a video where the whole first 10 minutes is nothing but dead air. Oh wait, but I need my notes. Where are my notes? There we are. First game on the bad PS2 games list. Bad Boys Miami Takedown. Let's see. That'll work. I didn't even know there was a Bad Boys game. But here we are. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith actually do not do any voices in this game, unlike the first Bad Boys game. So right away, fans would be disappointed about that. I guess the studio didn't want to offer him enough money, or maybe they weren't interested. Who knows? What we get instead is voice actors who try to do their best Marcus and Mike impressions, but it really falls flat, and the dialogue is laughably bad, and not in a good way. Also, there's extremely one-dimensional gameplay. Everything just consists of duck behind cover, come out and shoot, duck behind cover, come out and shoot. Which, that model can work when it's done right, but in this game, it was not. There we go. I like the way that looks. And let's see. Lack of balance in the weapons. Bad hit detection. Weak AI. And underwhelming graphics and animation. This game had a lot wrong with it, didn't it? Huh. I don't know what caused that police siren. But very appropriate. Very nice. Next game on the list. Robin Hood's Quest. Gentleman Adventurer. Alright, let's talk about this game. So right off the bat, here's the problem. You don't use a bow in the game. A lot of the game involves using stealth, which would be fine if at least some point you ended up using your bow. Robin Hood's quintessential weapon, but you don't use the bow in this game. So here's some huge problems with that. So maybe if that's the sort of game that you're going to make, maybe don't make it a Robin Hood game. Or maybe give the stealth missions to one of the other merry men. And put action missions in there with Robin Hood using his bow. Because they have flying arrows on the cover of the game. And, as I read, your sprite, your character model in the game running around as Robin Hood, has a full quiver of arrows on his back. But at no point do you ever use a bow. Can you talk about stupid? So, that's unforgivable. For a Robin Hood game, I don't know what they were thinking. They were smoking something. So let's see. Bad collision detection also, and unimpressive textures. Gotta have that. Now, if you want a good Robin Hood game, I honestly can't recommend one because I've never really heard of one that was like, oh man, you gotta play this Robin Hood game. Oops. Very nice. Oh goodness. Not all the gems burn up. Let's get those to smolder, huh? Next game on the list. Catwoman. We gotta have a cat. Let's see. How would we represent that? Okay, that's what we'll do. Yeah, that'll work. Catwoman. An adaptation of the movie starring Halle Berry. So, let's talk about it. First thing to note, painfully weak dialogue. Halle Berry actually does do the voice work for her character in this game, but it's mostly like one-liners like, working the night shift? So am I. You know, it's not really... There we go. It's not like good dialogue. The combat controls are frustrating because apparently you use the right analog for your attacks. You hold right analog in the direction, and that's the direction you attack in. So it's almost like a twin stick shooter, but it's not a shooter, which is confusing. So people were put off by that control scheme. Very unfavorable camera angles. And see, the way they worked the camera in this game was like, because like the actual design and animation of Catwoman is actually good. Like the character looks good in the game. But the way they did the camera was in such a way that it made her look good sort of cinematically, but not necessarily the best for trying to fight in combat, if that makes sense. And, oh yes, and they softened the violence in this game, represented by our plushies. So... Oh, and apparently if you idle for a little while, it'll, like, zoom in. And, yes, Kieran, I can do the Dreamcast next. It'll zoom in and, like, sort of, highlight Catwoman, and she'll like do like sensual moves and stuff. So there's that. But they softened up the violence in the game by like no one really dies. Like every enemy she defeats, they sort of just stand there and glow. And then if you knock someone off of a building, like, they'll land and then sit up and hold their head like they have a headache. There we go. Hope everybody's enjoying the public domain classical music I've got running here. Well, next game on the list. Crazy Frog Racers 1 and 2. So let's talk about Crazy Frog Racer 1. Choppy animation, no music during the race, unbalanced racing AI, very one-note and unremarkable tracks, and boring gameplay. Who remembers Crazy Frog, huh? And let's talk about Crazy Frog Racer 2. Unchallenging, ridiculous music, and erratically designed courses. So, Part 2 ended up doing a little bit better critically than Part 1, but it's still not a terrific, still not a terrific game. Let's see if we can get away with this. Oh, look at that. Thorkin had to come out of lurk to ask. There was a Crazy Frog game. Yes, apparently there was 2 on the PlayStation 2. And they were racing games. Now, I don't know enough about Crazy Frog to know if a racing game would have been the most appropriate use of that particular character's popularity, but the racing games were not a resounding success. Alright, next game. Fugitive Hunter, War on Terror. What do we want? Yeah, there we go. That looks good. And yeah. So let's talk about this Fugitive War on Terror game. This is one of those games that was born out of the tragedy of 9/11. And you go around the world hunting the most dangerous threats to democracy. The boss of the game is Osama bin Laden. So that part, I guess, was appropriate. But as for the game itself, I guess it was sort of a... I guess you could classify it as sort of a cash-in just on the whole 9/11 sentiment and taking advantage of shooter fans that really wanted to live out their desires to bring Osama bin Laden to justice. But it has like just mediocre, everyday first-person shooter mechanics with nothing particularly innovative or exciting. Very ordinary arsenal of weaponry as well. Just your common, okay, pistol, rifle, like a M16. You know, just your standard loadout. Nothing particularly fun or interesting. Just run-of-the-mill, every day, as common as a sidewalk on a summer day. And let's see. Also, the game itself is very short. There's no multiplayer. And there's cookie-cutter AI. You go around the world, like, to where different cultures and stuff, and you'd expect, like, you know, the different types of armies or different types of armed forces for these different cultures to act a little bit differently, but they don't. They just slapped a different coat of paint on the soldiers, and they all just do the same dumb, derpy enemy stuff. There's no variation, no real strategy, just shoot, shoot, shoot. Do your thing, Exterminator. Beautiful. I'd say we got him, boys. Let me know if the music is too loud. I'll lower it. Next game on the list. The Simpsons Skateboarding. Oh, what do I want to put for this? Sure. I don't know how well that would go, but... Okay, yeah. We'll do the sunglasses, since Bart Simpson is such a cool dude. So, this thing was a very poorly done Tony Hawk Pro Skater clone. And, it has very broken controls. And from what I've read, like, certain moves were, like, way too complex or way too easy. Like, you would try to do, like, a 360, and it's, like, so precise that it's almost impossible to pull off. But then if you grind on a rail, you just do the controls in such a way to get on the rail and then touch nothing, and you'll just coast along the rail with absolutely no problems. There's no balance required, nothing. So it's either... the control's either way too complex or not complex enough, depending on the scenario. And bad graphics. Oh yeah, I've seen footage of this game and it's terrible. The backgrounds look like they were drawn like for this. Let me get myself together here. For a game that came out in the PS2 era starring The Simpsons, it should have had, like, the background should have been done much, much better. And I think by this time we already had Simpsons Hit and Run, which had much better drawn backgrounds, if I recall correctly. So, in addition to the bad graphics, the actual characters are drawn poorly. Their proportions are a bit off, according to most people. And there's also visual slowdown at certain parts of the game. Gotta have that. And, oh yes, mediocre, unenthralling gameplay. Yeah, otherwise, just... might be worth a rental and not much else. There we go. Next game. Okay. The guy game. So let's see. We come out with some typical... Actually, yeah. Gotta have that. Find some typical dude bro stuff. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, that's good. Let's talk about this game. You will see the several scantily clad women. This is a trivia game that has like a few different, I guess, modes to it, in where they ask the questions, and then you have to sort of, like, some parts of the game you answer the questions, other parts of the questions you have to predict whether or not the girl will answer the question correctly. But basically the whole point of the game is to just, like, see bare boobs. That's the big takeaway and the big thing if you win. You get to see some digitized bare boobs. There we go. So as for the game itself, extremely niche game. Likely only going to appeal to like teenage boys and college age guys. Other than that, probably not very many people are going to be looking for this game. Has very run-of-the-mill trivia, nothing particularly outstanding about it. And it has a whole lot of corny jokes and like innuendos, as you might expect. So let's say goodbye to the guy game. Let's sing the Man Show theme song, right? Grab a beer and drop your pants, send your wife and kids to France. It's the Man Show. Quit your job and light a fart, pick your favorite private part. It's the Man Show. It's a place where men can come together. Look at the cans on this chick named Heather. Joggy girls on trampolines, time to loosen those blue jeans. It's the Man Show! Alright, next game on the list. Beverly Hills Cop. How do we want to, okay, since it's Beverly Hills, gotta have a couple of those. Let's see. Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be. Oh, gotta have, okay. Gotta have this, and I'll tell you why. Alright, Beverly Hills Cop. So, for some reason, in 2006, they decided to make a Beverly Hills Cop game on the PS2, 12 years after the last movie came out. Beverly Hills Cop 3, which came out in 1994. But, you can't see the emblem very well, but it was, put out by a company called Blast Entertainment, and apparently they liked to take, old movie franchises, well, not necessarily old, but they like to take movie franchises and make games out of them, even if they were old. So just to give you an idea, I'll read some of the other games that they've made. Casper and the Ghostly Trio, Charlotte's Web, also on the PS2, Dr. Dolittle, Garfield Lasagna World Tour, Home Alone on the PS2. They made another game that's coming up on the same list called Little Britain, the video game. They made Paddington Bear. They made The Water Horse, Legend of the Deep. Thomas and Friends, A Day at the Races. Thunderbirds, and Xena Warrior Princess. Okay. Oh, I accidentally set fire to Beverly Hills Cop. Oh, look. The fire petered out by itself. So if it's Beverly Hills, we gotta have a couple of typical...
I'm so pretty.
Yeah. That's good. Something like that. And one of these. And let's talk about why all these words deserve to be here. Alright. Apparently, there's an insidious amount of typos in this game. In the subtitles and things. So we have words here to represent that. I don't know if it was like a localization thing. Because this game, from what I understand, didn't actually come out in the States. So... Beverly Hills Cop PS2. Anytime you'd care to load. Yeah, Europe. That was it. So this game, so it might have been like, it was probably then translated into a few different languages, and I don't know what Blast Entertainment's home office is, but either way, the amount of the amount of typos and errors in the text was unforgivable. So, as for other parts of the game, the character in the game does not resemble Eddie Murphy in any way. That's very noticeable. It also has absolutely unforgivable graphics for a game that was released the same year the PlayStation 3 came out. This game came out in 2006. The PlayStation 3 came out in 2006. There was no excuse to have graphics that horrendous. Very sluggish controls. Gotta have that. Especially in a game where you shoot. Extremely busted AI. All the enemies just mostly do the same thing and don't provide any real challenge. Unskippable cutscenes. And apparently they even reused some ideas. There's only 6 levels in the game. But 2 of the levels are at the docks. Tell me why they couldn't, like, develop more differentiation in the levels? I don't know. Oh, and apparently this game was printed on a CD instead of a DVD. Hello, Pippin. I am doing well. How are you today?
We're sorry. You have reached a number that is no longer in service.
Catwoman, I used GameCube even though it's a video about PlayStation 2. Okay. The same game. Let me see real quick. Found a replacement cord to the special headset, so all is well. Glad to hear that. Ah, there we are. Here you go, Karen. Feel better now? Alrighty. Moving to the next game on the list. Charlie's Angels. Ooh. Alright. We need 3 of these. Where is the... Here we go. So let's talk about Charlie's Angels on the PS2. Ooh, overly simplistic combat controls and gameplay mechanics. Yeah, apparently they give you, like, punches and kicks, but, like, their idea of doing combos in this game is, like, 2 kicks or 2 punches and stuff. And there's, like, a special move that you can do that seems to be at random. But it's like a butt bump attack, so it's very, odd. What else? Poorly designed AI, yeah. All the enemies will just charge straight at you. So, you can easily just kite them around the screen and just stop and hit them when you feel the opportunity.
Hey, boys. Hey, boys.
Outstanding. Oh no! Oh well. As for the rest, wonky camera. Gotta have that. Vomit-inducing graphics. And... yeah, I think, yeah. Just to round this out and give you an idea, here's what their character sprites look like. Tell me that's not awful. Kieran says, thankfully bin Laden was killed in 2011 and the World Trade Center has been reborn as the Freedom Tower. Yes, yes, indeed. Just look at this. This is unforgivable. Let's get rid of it. I can no longer bear to look at it. The Hey Boys was certified creepy. Yeah. They also randomly say, I'm so pretty. And last game on the list, Little Britain, the video game. Now, I'd never heard of this, because apparently it's based on a UK television show. So, unimpressive menagerie of mini-games that are crappy clones of other games. There's one game where you're gunning around a supermarket that's very similar to Pac-Man. There's a biking game that is remarkably similar to Paperboy. These kinds of things. But they're very, very poorly done. Very bland graphics, terrible animation, and a total conceptual lack of direction. And also, apparently, they make a lot of edgy jokes, which didn't hit home with a lot of people, or hit home a little too hard, as the case may be. And certain groups of people were not appreciative of the humor. So this represents the conceptual lack of direction in the game. How do we want to start this? Let's start it here. Terrible. Ugh. That cover just kind of bugs me out, too. Very nice, very nice. This sounds kind of nice. Oh, okay. Requiem in D minor by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Well, that's that list done and dusted. I hope everyone's been enjoying these Little Inferno burn fests. Special shout out to Kieran Callahan over on the YouTube end who keeps on feeding me these lists to do. Thank you, Pippin. I figured, like, I had to turn the music off. I actually had to go in the game config file to turn the music off. Because this game doesn't give you an option to mute the sound. Pretty crooked considering that there's copyrighted music in here that I kept on getting dinged for on YouTube when these videos would go live. Because when you're on the shopping screen, it plays this song that's titled Window Gazing, and apparently it's copyrighted by the DeWolf Music Group. But as you see, this is the screen. There's only, you choose one of your 3 save files, and that's it. There's no options, there's no nothing. There's not even credits. Oh no, I don't want to delete the data. That would be horrendous. But that's the long and short of it. So I hope you enjoyed this list. Look forward to another one probably on Sunday. And it'll be bad Dreamcast games. So I'm going to take a small break and get something to eat. I'm going to put in my contact lenses. And coming back with more Phantasy Star 4 Purgatory Mode. And if you were there for any of the first stretch of that, you'll know just how horrendous it is and what a fun time I've been having with it. So stay tuned for that. So for now, everybody stay safe out there. Thank you for coming on this little journey with me. Be sure to hit all the social medias. Tell your friends about my Hamburglar follower bonus if that's something that interests them. And